Hello, my friends. How are you today? Hi, my name is Natasha. I am the creator and the founder of the Glow Up Method, and I am so excited to be here with you today on this totally tubular Tuesday. I know yesterday was a bit of a vibe. Before I filmed, I had spent all this time with my daughter. Again, it was I was like gung-ho, had all these things. I was totally doing like a motivated Monday. I had all these things to get done. And again, I'm faced with the choice, right? We're at a crossroads. Like every single thing we do, like to film or not to film, to, take a nap or not to take a nap, to get in the car right now or to not get in the car. Like every single thing is a decision. And every decision we make, there is a consequence. Like it's a decision. Like sometimes we don't want to make a decision and we sit there, but then the decision gets made for us. And so again, like if I don't have a plan and if I'm like not physically here, then, or if I am physically here, then I am at the mercy of other people's plans sometimes. Like they will create a plan for me and create a plan for you, right? So, I have this conversation and everything is fine until it comes to me. So I sit with it a lot last night and I'm sitting with it a lot still today because there's a part of me that again, I get very convicted. I get very defensive of myself now because I'll speak up for it. Like before it would be like, whatever anybody said, that was the truth. Even though I knew differently in my heart and I knew my truth, I almost thought my truth was a lie. My truth wasn't real. Like their truth is what mattered. Their expectations, their ideas mattered. Mine didn't. I'm going to sit here in the quiet and be quiet. So when last night, she's talking to me about how dad sits here and just says, you're the love of his life and he'll go anywhere. He'll do anything with you. He'll watch a show with you. He'll take you out to a movie. He'll go to the beach with you. He'll do anything to be with you. You're the love of his life. And then here on the contrary, you're sitting here telling us how you gave him the wrong number. So it's like, he's like nothing and all this stuff. And yeah, that is true. I gave him the wrong number. And yes, that is true. So he says he'll take me any place. He doesn't ask me to go anywhere. And so to sit there and victimize himself and try to make it look like I'm this big bad person. And she's like, you're the one who's choosing this. And first off, we haven't even had a conversation. So I'm not sure how you know anything of what's been chosen because we're trying to settle at where we're at before we sit down and have a conversation with the kids and be like, here is where we are. And, I want to be able to be on the same team. He is still too angry with me to be able to sit down and have a very serious and, altering thing. And we've got big things coming up. We've got, we had a surgery, they have high school and college graduations. So it's there's no of urgency to be like, here's what it is. It's not like, oh, here pops, here's this great surprise, there's time, there's no hurry. As far as I can handle and as far as he can handle, we will stay cohabitating and, do our best to, parent as best as we can together. How long that will last, I'm not really sure. I'm sure he's not really sure. So I say all that to say is we all make choices. And so this morning I really started thinking about because she was just like, well, you can let him back in the room and do all these things. And it just infuriates me because it's my pain is not seen because I'm the tough one, because I am the more intelligent one. I am the more emotionally intelligent one. I know better. And and because I don't divulge all my relationship details with any of them, it makes it look like I am just this bad guy, right? They, constantly hear oh, I have no room, your mom won't let me back in the room. Well, the truth of the matter is, for as long as we've been married, he has left the room by choice. I have never once kicked him out of the room. Never once. There were days I wanted to, but never once did I. And yet, for more than 3/4 of our marriage, we did not share a bed. More than 3/4 of our marriage, we did not share a bed. This was not by me or my choice or me kicking him out. These were his choices. He decided to leave each time. And there was no consideration or acknowledgement or accountability when it came to the effects on me. And so for a long time, I was like, okay, well, he's not aware because I'm not even being honest with like, this is the effect it has on me. So, when we're in our therapy, I realized that it is my job to be honest, like be nice, but be honest, right? Like there's a difference. Or not a difference, but like you can do this to do them at the same time. I don't need to just kind of hold back my feelings. And so, I told him, I said, when you leave the room, like it brings up a lot of abandoned issues for me. And granted, those are my issues to work on, but this is how I feel. Like I would rather, have a conversation and be like, hey, I need some separation from you right now. I'm going to go sleep downstairs. Have some kind of conversation or communication. So like I can kind of process things. And, he agrees and he was like, I understand, like, da 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 da. And then the next thing you know, 2 days later, he's doing it again. He leaves, he throws a fit, he's yelling at me. He goes to another room, he goes downstairs, he's gone and slept in his car, he'll go on the floor downstairs, like basically in my eyes now, just having these outbursts. And so again, when he's done with his temper tantrum, he comes back, without an apology, without a conversation, without any acknowledgement of my feelings. It's like, I leave when I want to leave and I'm going to come back when I want to leave. I don't really care. I mean, I'm sure he does, but like from my perspective, it's like, I don't care that this has an effect on you, but I just need to do this and I don't need to talk to you and I don't need to do this. Like I get you need space. I totally honor that. That is not the issue. The issue is we're not communicating, and you have been made aware multiple times now about how it makes me feel when you choose to do this. And he continues to do it. So finally I was like, no more. Like I have told him ever since we have met, like I am loyal to a fault and I will accept a lot. Like I have a high threshold for BS that I take and have compounded on me. I was like, but there is a limit. It is a big, like some people have a very small limit. Like I have a humongous limit, but there is a limit. There is that end of the rope. And I'm warning you, like once I hit that place, I cannot come back. I will not be able to come back. And I think that's where I'm at now. So I remember telling him over and over, I told him multiple times, like the next time you leave, it's just not healthy for me to have you yo-yo back and forth. If you need to leave, let's have a conversation. Like, even if it's just like, hey, I'm going to leave tonight and go sleep downstairs. Fine. We don't need to have a long drawn out. You need to send me a text with that because you don't want to talk to me. Fine. You want to send an email, whatever. You want to send a telegraph. You want to sign language to me. I don't care the methodology of how you want to communicate that, but I need some kind of safe communication. And so he did it. And I just warned him. I said, the next time will be the last time. Like, I am not going to sit here and allow you to just keep yo-yoing back and forth at the flim of your emotions and your wins. And I understand you have a lot going on, but I am no longer going to be subjected to them. Like, those are your choices and those are your emotions to work through. They are not mine. And I no longer want to suffer as a result of them. And so lo and behold, he leaves again. And I told him that was it. Like, we are done. I am not ready, like, for you to come back. And, well, when will you be ready? And now it was like, he never wanted to be in here, but now suddenly, because I'm saying you can't come in, it is this hot ticket item. Like, for the 3/4 and more than 3/4, I'm telling you, but I'm being very generous in saying 3/4, like, of our marriage, he never like complained about sleeping downstairs. He never said a word about it. And I was like, what's the difference now? Well, the difference now is I love you and I didn't love you then. Like, I had fallen out of love with you, and then now I fell back in love with you, so I want to be with you. Well, then why are you leaving? Well, I don't know. I just get irritated and frustrated, so I just leave. And I'm like, okay, but like, it has an effect on me. And he's like, well, I have stuff going on. And I was like, okay, it doesn't mean it's okay to hurt me in the process. So, that's where it came. And so now it's like this big sticking point. Like, it's anytime the kids are on, oh, I don't have a room, and, I don't have this, and I have to sleep downstairs, and everybody's here. And I'm like, hey, look, you can take the room. I'll take downstairs. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want that. I want to be in the room with you. And I was like, you had more than 3/4 of our marriage to be in the room with me, and you chose not. And you chose to you know, when I specifically said, hey, here is the effect it has on me, like, I get it. We sometimes make choices and we don't like the consequences of those choices. But that doesn't mean that it's my fault. Like, it doesn't mean that I get to be punished because you're upset with yourself for the consequences. When I chose to eat in excess and then also not do any physical activity, the consequence was 300 pounds, right? I chose to not exhibit any kind of self-care or self-love. The consequence was I was really out of shape. The consequence was that out of shape was not just defined by the physical. Oh no, that was just like a snapshot of what was going on the inside. It was anxiety, stress, panic attacks, just constantly lived in this state of stress. And that was the consequence of my choices. And I didn't like it, but it didn't make it Bradley, Karina, Dylan, Tyler, or Chris's fault. Those were all my consequences. They were my choices and they were my consequences. And so when I had the courage to accept that and say, none of this is anybody else's fault. Yeah, you're a mom and you don't carve out time for yourself. You are a great mom. You are giving 150,000% to your kids. Like, that is amazing. Kudos to you. However, you still deserve a seat at the table. You still deserve to have love from you. Period. I don't know if you're going to get it from anybody else on this planet, but you need to love you. You need to be kind to you because you are with you 24/7. There is no escaping you. Like, I am with me all day long, all night long, every car ride, every shower, you know? So let's be kind, you know, let's treat yourself the way you treat others. And so again, I was thinking about like choices and the consequences of choices and how hard and challenging it is for me to sit there and not defend my honor. It's my integrity. Like, this is my story. And I get it. You, as a kid, right? I don't care how old you are, you're in a way desperate for your parents to stay together. This is your little form of normalcy that you want to retain, right? You only have a vision of how the holidays are together. And, you know, especially my daughter, she's very creative. So she's a very imaginative thinker. So she's thinking 45,000 steps ahead. And, you know, and she's just like, it's so easy. Like, you guys just need to do more together. I'm sure it does. Like, it is, the answer is so simple. And again, like, even after, like, I had been honest, there's been 2 days that he's been kind to me, you know, and I'm like, wow, those have been so nice. And if only he had treated me that way every single day. And I'm not talking he did anything to go out of his way. It wasn't like any flowers were brought or some grand gesture or something was cleaned or something. No, it was literally being kind to me. It was literally one time he was at Safeway and bought me $1 candy that's like one of my favorite candies. Like, I am not talking grand gestures, but 2 days out of this entire few weeks that we've been here, like, I get you're going through things, but every day I'm still being kind to you, even in the face of having to deal with the challenges of, you know, when I ask him very kindly, like, hey, I have an appointment. Can you, and I have asked him one time in Dylan's 8+ months of physical therapy to help take Dylan to physical therapy or home from it. And I've obviously asked 0 because Tyler, but I have a conflict on Thursday. And so again, instead of me always just self-sacrificing, I figured, oh, I will reach out to the other parent, you know, like, yeah, that might make his day have this thing, but that's my inconvenience every day. But he doesn't see my work of value. Like, this isn't important. This is a hobby. Like, I don't have to do any of the things I do. And, you know, like, everything I do is unimportant. Like, there's no value to any of it in his eyes. So his stuff is important and non-negotiable and non-movable, where mine is. And so, you know, I asked him and I was like, would you be able to, I could either take them or I could take them. They just need a ride home at 1:15. And he was like, probably not. And literally there's nothing in his calendar. So there's nothing that he couldn't, if he wanted to do it, but he doesn't want to do anything for me. And this is viewed as me. So I can either cancel their appointment and they don't get to go. I can cancel my appointment and I don't get to go. or he can cancel his appointments, which he doesn't have any at right at the moment, and he not go. So, you know, I think it was just really telling. He's like, nope, probably not. And so it's like, okay, that's fine. Like, I see you, and it infuriates me because, you know, like yesterday he was like boasting. I could hear him in the other room, and, you know, he was talking about, you know, like talking to my son because my son had this great interview and he did so well. So fingers crossed for him. Like, it's just so exciting to see him excited. So I'm really hoping and praying everything works out for him. But, you know, he was talking, Chris was like, yeah, if you have a job that you love doing, it doesn't feel like work. And then my other son was like, well, do you love what yours? And he was like, no, I mean, I would do something else. He's like, but I love helping people. And it's so funny because that really like made me think. And it was like, it's so funny. He just cannot stand to help me though. Like, he has specifically said, do not ask me for anything. And it doesn't even matter if it's limited to the kids or not to the kids. He just does not want me to ask anything. So it's nothing for around the house. Like, he will not do anything around the house. So that's why I'm like, if you're just sucking the life out of it, like figuratively and physically, then why are you here? Like, you don't say thank you, and you just, you know, eat whatever you want. You make a mess wherever you want. And then you're going to treat me like crap whenever you want, and not parent your kids, not help with them with their doctor's appointments. Why am I letting this guy stay here? Like, again, these are questions back on myself too. So, and it's like, well, it's not about me. It's about, you know, the kids and stuff like that. So again, if he would have just been cool, like if he would have just been nice and been helpful, like he says he likes to be to not everybody else, not only everybody else, but me, like, we would not be in this situation 1000%. Like, we would have been a happy, normal couple, but he treats me so poorly. And like I said here, he just treats me the way he treats himself. Like, it's an extension of me. Like, he punishes me like I'm his mom, like I'm his dad, like I'm him. And that's exactly how he treats me. And so it's just, it's not me choosing this. This is not, but the consequences of my choice, it's me choosing me. It is me choosing that I know that now my worth. I know I am worthy of being treated with simple human decency, with common courtesy, with politeness. Like, I, as a bare minimum from a partner, deserve that. And I'm entitled to that. And if my kids were being treated like this by their partners, I would tell them to run as fast as they can. If my best friend was being treated like this, I would tell her to run as fast as she can. And yet I tolerated it for so long because I thought, you know, 5 people's happiness is more important than my happiness. So I can sacrifice and not be happy, and in order for them to be happy. And if they're happy, that means I'm happy, right? Well, that worked for a while until it wasn't. And then I'm sitting here in hell, and I'm thinking that this hell is no longer just limited to me. My kids are being affected. They're constantly hearing his comments and passive aggressions and direct aggressions to me, and his screaming at me and telling me in front of the kids that nobody loves you. No, you know, you can try to find somebody supportive, but you'll never find anybody. And I'm like, I never even said I wanted anybody. Like, I just want to be treated with human kindness. And if that only person in this world is from me, then that's fine. I'm just not going to tolerate it from anybody else, not because I want somebody else, but my God, now challenge on. Like, I am sure there are some very attractive men out there that have great hearts and are compassionate and have no problem being nice. And oh my gosh, God forbid, like, they do something nice or helpful for me, like, and I do many nice and helpful things for him, like on the daily, still to this day, that just mean nothing and are taken for granted. So again, I don't believe him anymore of what he said. And, you know, basically all of our choices, my choice is to stay. Like, that's on me. Like, I don't even blame him for the way the relationship is. I blame myself for staying. And it's not in a martyr way. It's just like, here's the truth. You can control you, but you cannot control him as much as you want to. And as much as I, you know, here, I'm going to say it in the nicest ways. Like, please be kind to me. Please be my friend. You know, please treat me with decency. Please don't scream at me. Please don't slam the doors at me. Like, literally, when you come home and you're already slamming doors and huffing and screaming, and I'm like, what is going on? I'd be like, maybe you need to sit in the car for a few minutes and like calm down, like listen to music. Like, you don't need to run. Like, there's nothing I did. And then he's like, well, you didn't run in and give me a hug and a kiss and all this. I'm so sorry. I do not want to run into a fire. I'm not running into the lion's den or he gonna bite my head off. Okay. Like, no, thank you. Like, you are not a safe person. You're reckless with my emotions. You have no regard to the things that you say in front of my kids about me, whether it's true or false. And 90% of the time it's false. It's just what he makes up in his own head. Like, he doesn't talk to me to even know what the hell the truth is. Like, when he was reaching out to my siblings, I didn't want him to reach out to my siblings. Like, first off, A, that's embarrassing. I can handle my own stuff. I don't need anybody fighting my battles. And B, he has no idea what I even think or want. He has no clue if I even want a relationship with these people. But now he's bringing me all up into their business. And I just am like, are you serious right now? Like, yes. So I think about my daughter and I think about the conversation and I think about how when she was talking, there were so many parts of her conversation that reminded me of the old me, the uncertainty, the compounding of problems, the like just need for some kind of relief, like some place, some aspect or area of life that you're like, yes, here is the win. And I think that it becomes challenging, right? Like, and I asked her, I said, do you ever not feel stress? And it was like, almost like a reminder. And like her talking, I was like, oh my gosh, I used to feel in stress like that from the minute I woke up until the minute I went to bed. And I was like, it was like I almost didn't realize that in the midst of all this journey, in the midst of all this transformation and evolution, growth, glow ups, like everything, I don't feel that stress anymore. Like, for the most part, yes, I do on occasion. There are moments, there are circumstances, there are situations, of course. But overall, I don't feel this overwhelming sense of stress, this overwhelming sense of judgment, and this overwhelming sense of it being my responsibility to make everybody else happy. And I can hear her words, and she now has so many of these life traits that I was showing, like displaying for her, like unknowingly, and that like she picked up on. And again, this is not my fault or anything like that, but it's so interesting now to see it from the other side. And, there's nothing I can say or do to fix it, right? Like, this is her own journey and her own path. And all I can do is remind her of how amazing she is and how proud I am of her and how strong and resilient and, how in certain circumstances, I may have wished to have ended the curse, on our generational family. Like, I wanted that legacy to end here, and perhaps it doesn't end with me, and perhaps it ends with her and she stops it and she's able to stop that for her children or her nieces, or, so I think that, choices are such a fundamental part of who we are. We make them every single day, every minute of the day, that we make a choice to do something or not, to eat this or not, to go here or not, to tell that person I love them or not, like we have these choices and we don't know what the consequences are. And like each choice like takes us on a different path. Like, when you do those like, questionnaires and it's like, here's the question. And it's like, if this, yes. And then if this, no. And then yes, you go this way, and no, you go this way. And it's like with each yes, with each no, with each place we go or each thing, it takes our whole life on this whole different path and journey. And sometimes it feels like we have no choice, right? Like, I have to pay my bills. I have to do taxes. Like, but actually we really don't. Like, there is other ways. Like, we have to go to college. We have to go to school. Like, there's so many choices. And, there was a minute in the car today where I like almost felt like that panic again. I was getting ready to go to the gym and I was just like, damn it. Like, how did I get myself here into this situation where I must reside with somebody who's treating me like this? Like, You know, I work really hard at being independent, and I work really hard at being able to, you know, if I don't want to be in this pain, to be able to like, just be like, please leave. Like, and I have done the complete opposite. And it's like, he feels this power over me, which I don't like. And it's like, if I say no, it's not honored. If I say no, like I'm supposed to silence my voice, you know, because he doesn't want to be asked to come to dinner at the table with us. Like, so I'm just supposed to not ask. Like, no, I am not going to be that person, because I am still a polite and kind and inclusive person. And I'm not going to stop being that because it makes you uncomfortable to say, no, I don't want to join my family at dinner, because we're still family. Like, whether or not we share a bed or intimate together, or share intimate things, or you know, plan our futures together, like, we are still family, whether he likes it or not. And you know, it's up to us to define, like, will we be enemies or will we be allies? And I so want to be allies, because what's the freaking point? Like, there is nobody else that I've spent 25 years of my life with. And quite frankly, at this part of my age, I don't know if there's anybody else I'll spend 25 years of my life with. You know, I fully plan on spending the next few years of my life just exploring who the hell I am before I try to latch on to somebody else's, you know, problems and you know, not fully be in my thing. Like, it's so easy to go back into the, I'm gonna fix you, I'm gonna fix this, and let me do everything for you. Like, this is my default setting. I can jump into that in a second, in a heartbeat. Like, I have to back the truck up sometimes and be like, slow your roll, like, do not volunteer, do not, like, there takes a lot of work to not be who I was. And so I know my default settings are still so programmed in there. Like I said, the meditation has stopped, the dry brushing has stopped, the scalp massaging, the gushaing has stopped. Like, so many of these little grounding self-care things that I was really enjoying have stopped, because I had to make a choice with this time. I've got 24 hours. I've got these things to do. My kids need me X amount of time more than they usually would. So something has to get, there has to be this little give and take dance. And of course, I sacrifice myself, and within reason, because I'm like, okay, I'm still going to do these things. But I say all that to say, I don't feel quite confident enough that if I was suddenly in a relationship with somebody else, I wouldn't abandon me further. And so I'm not in a position to feel strong enough that I could do both. Like, yeah, maybe I could go to a coffee or something like that, but like, I am all in or I'm all out. I don't have this like, oh yeah, here or there. Like, no. So I really want to focus on me. I really want to focus on my children. I really want to focus on my businesses. And I really want to be solid in my foundation and know that, hey, wait, no, these are non-negotiables. My meditation isn't stopping for anyone. My dry brushing, because all those things take like less than 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you know, in total. Like, if you add it, if I only do a 5-minute meditation or a 10, you know, depending on how long of my meditation is, like, and really, I can carve that time out. It's, again, it's the choices and the consequences is, yeah, I feel a little more anxious. I don't feel as much tuned in. Like, there, my, you know, my lymph system isn't moving as much. My, you know, skin isn't glowing as much. Like, there are consequences to every choice and every action. And so I really want you to be cognizant and conscious of it, because I think so many of our choices are just default set in, like, come home, you know, you're in that routine. Maybe you come home, you take off the shoes, you put them over here, you come in, you take a shower, you know, you go to this class, you watch this show. Like, so much of it is just robotic, and so much of it is a no-brainer. You fight with your husband, you don't fight with your husband, you get along with your husband, you know, you drive your kids here, you pick them up there. Like, so much is just on this default program right hand setting, and we really need to flip the script. And in order to flip the script, we've got to realize we are responsible for the consequences of our actions. And it doesn't mean it's bad. Like, some consequences are good. I go to the gym. I am feeling happy. I am feeling endorphins. I am smiling all the time. I am making friends. That is the consequence of that choice. You know, like, when I'm around people in the gym, they are like the doers a lot of times. It's like they are there, they are motivated. They're not the ones that are saying, I should go to the gym one day. They are there. Like they are there, some on a consistent basis, and some choose not to come for a while and come for another, few months and then stop coming for a few months. Everybody does their own thing. They go on trips, they have work, they have life that gets in the way, whatever it is. No judgment, but whoever is there, they are the 1% that says, oh no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow through with what I say. And so I say all that to say, really be conscious of your choices and take that accountability and know that if there's something that you don't like the result of, you as the choice maker have the power to change it. You can learn from that situation and be like, oh, no, I don't like how I feel when I eat 10 pieces of cake. Like I am going to choose to only eat 1 piece of cake the next time. Like whatever it is, big, small, little, large, life decision, like, to tie your shoe with the left hand versus the right hand, like all of it matters. And it's all leading you and altering your path and your future. And so I say, be very conscious of it, make choices and think about them. Like, and when you're doing something, like think about how it's going to impact you and how it's going to impact the others in your life. And if that aligns with who you want to be, does that align with the best version of you? And if it does, great. And if you're not sure, try it. And then if it doesn't work out, make adjustments, adapt, pivot, be flexible. And so I say all that to say, thank you so much for tuning in. And if anybody hasn't told you today, I'm going to let you know I love you. I adore you. I think you are phenomenal. Thank you so much for spending the last 30 minutes of your life with me. So please go out there today. Do me one favor. Give somebody a big smile. Give them a compliment. And just watch how they glow up. So thank you so much. Bye.